Bismillah then. So we begin again, Bismillah, in the name of Allah. And may Allah SWT guide us and make this lesson fruitful for all of us who are here, present and online. So Assalamu alaikum everyone online. I see Sister Marian, Sister Maricela. I don't know Sister Danelle yet. So welcome all of you. My name is Erika. If you guys know me, I'm also a convert for time. And Sister Ru has been kind enough to allow me to come and share some of the awesome things about emotional intelligence, so we can all, inshallah, cultivate that area in our lives and inshallah get along with other people better, have a better sense of ourselves, implement our Islamic knowledge and the teachings of our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and to put them in practice in our lives so it's more meaningful, it is more purposeful, and inshallah with that we can have a better perspective of what our purpose is in life and how we can also benefit others. So are you already there? They were doing some technical stuff. Okay. Walaikum assalam, mashallah. So I'll have this presentation. It is a continuation of the emotion of fear. Last time I believe we watched, or we learned a little bit about where fear comes from and some of the fear that is situational, which is basically based on situations that may happen to us in daily life. Today we're going to review a little bit of that and go a little deeper into what psychological fear is and what are some of the things that we can do to identify and what are some of the things that we can do to overcome that. And this will be from a psychological point and also from an Islamic source as well, inshallah. So I like to begin with this quote, which says, emotions change how we see the world and how we interpret the actions of others. So a lot of times when we speak about emotional intelligence, sometimes we get caught up in the word emotions. And what we know about emotions is crying or talking our problems out or complaining. So when a lot of times we say someone is emotional, we have a negative image or perception of what that may mean. We may think someone is emotional, and then you immediately might think, oh, she's weak, or he is weak, and he cries, or she cries, or she cannot hold herself, he cannot hold himself. And it is partly true, but it is not really what it means. Emotional intelligence means that we are human beings and we have emotions, and therefore we must be intelligent about how we manage them, how we respond to them, and also we must be intelligent to acknowledge other people's feelings and emotions towards us so we can have a better response. And through that, have better relationships with our spouses, with our co-workers, with our children, with people in general, with Allah, within ourselves. So I put here that it changes. So if I put this example of 6 and 9, if you are on this side, you may see it as a number 6. If you're under this side, it is 9. So which one is correct? Right? It's hard to tell. So it all depends on, again, what emotions you might have and how you might want to look at things. So I am going to show you a short video on an example of displaying emotional intelligence and how the response to understanding other people can really change people's reactions, and it can make people's life better, even if it is for whatever instant or situation we're in. So the minute is two-minute video, 2 minutes, and I think I will put it right here. I believe it goes into, let me see if it clicks. Okay. I think I put it last. So this is a different video. The other one is at the end for our quiz. So be attentive. So I would like to start with this 2-minute video again to for us to understand that part of being aware of our emotions and identify them, obviously we must begin with ourselves. So there must be a sense of self-awareness of how we are, of what we can do, and what we cannot do. We need to first understand our limits and our capacities as well. So if we don't recognize them ourselves, it's going to be hard to let others know and to also others to perceive. If we don't have that security within ourselves or that self-image within ourselves, it's going to be hard for others to read it. And it's going to be hard for us to even tell. So I wanted to use this. And also social awareness means being aware of other people. So the following video will show you 2 examples. I don't know if you're familiar with the movies or the English language in that manner, but the second part of the video is 1 minute of I believe it's probably Urdu. But I didn't understand the language, but I know exactly what's going on. And you will too, you will see. I did not understand the words, but I know exactly. It's like I could almost hear what they were saying. You will see. Bismillah, you will see. It's so beautiful. So I'll play it just for you. This will be the self-awareness part. When you are self-aware, you... can they hear? So maybe just up in there.
But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer.
So we began with this with a statement. He said, I will tell you how it is, how I am. And then he says, I am the type of person that if I don't know something, I will tell you that I don't know, and I will go and find the answer. So he is making an affirmation of his own self-awareness. He knows himself. He knows, and he's not shy to say, hey, I don't know, but hey, I can find out for you. And that's a very good quality of emotional intelligent people. A lot of times we feel shy to say we don't know. And instead of that, we may even lie or make up something on the go, or, you're not honest, and people can sense that. Just that they can sense honesty, they can sense those things too. So you need to know yourself as well and let others know, hey, this is really how I am. Okay. So let's see another one. Oh, goodness.
Can I say something? I'm the type of person, you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm going to tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what, I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer. Is that fair enough? I can do it. No, you can't. No one can. It's bullshit. No, I'm pretty sure I can do it. No, you can't. Let me see. Give it here. Listen, walk around all day.
And then this message, can they see it? Did you all see did you all miss the beginning? No. Well, the gentleman is cleaning up the floor, and the other gentleman walks by with someone. So he steps on the floor that he just cleaned. So you can guess what the older gentleman is probably saying. Hey, you step on it. Can you realize I'm working? I work really hard for this, And so you will see the reaction of the yellow shirt guy there. Let's see. There, I think we missed it right here because I was dealing with something else. There you go.
इस साल से तो सुनता है क्यों कंप्लेन करने का है मकसूद नाम है मेरा जाओ करो कंप्लेन नहीं कर रहे थैंक यू बोलिए सच्ची बस काम करता ही होता है। पेशेंट लोग जब ठीक होता है तो सब डॉक्टर को थैंक यू बोलता है। तुम साला सबका कचरा पट्टी उठाते हैं, तुमको कोई थैंक यू नहीं बोलता। मेरे को तुमको थैंक यू बोलने का मकसद है। थैंक यू मकसद है। सॉरी,
कोई बात नहीं, जैसा हो जाएगा सर।
So at first he felt that because he was cleaning and someone stepped on it, he felt disrespected. You know, the older gentleman felt that, oh, I'm just a cleaning guy. You know, you feel like you can just step on it because maybe you're the boss or something. And the boss, instead of, you know, answering back or something with whatever power, he acknowledged that it's hard work and that he's grateful that he's there to clean and to keep an eye, and that he's sorry that he didn't notice and he's making his work harder. So as you can see, the older gentleman's perspective, I guess, feelings changed to the point that at the end he steps again, but he doesn't get mad because now he's being acknowledged, he's being respected. You know, he knows that the boss didn't do it on purpose to say, oh, you know, you're the cleaning guy, let me just step on it. You know, he knows that he was an accident, he was genuine about it. So again, that's why emotional intelligence is very important. So today, that was kind of like a refresher for those of you who might have been new or just kind of refresh that. So what is fear, which is our topic of today? Last time we touched on where fear comes from. So fear, number one, is an emotion and a feeling at the same time. And if it is unattended, we don't address it at the root, then it becomes something larger and becomes different feelings, different areas in our life. So we have healthy and rational fear. The healthy and rational fear is that fear that we have to protect ourselves. You know, for example, you're not going to go purposefully at night in a dangerous zone by yourself, knowing that there could be something bad that could happen to you. So that is, you know, you're not going to do stuff like that. So you will be afraid to be in a place like that because, you know, something bad will happen. So having rational fears, for example, being next to scorpions or rattlesnakes, or driving 90 miles per hour in the highway, you know, it is, if you're in someone's car and they're driving really fast, it will be rational for you to be fearful or afraid that something might happen because you see a reality right there. You see it's a situation that puts you in that kind of fear. So there is a reason to feel fear. Irrational fear, we touched a little on that, and we said that that is the fear that there is really no big reasons to be afraid of. But most of us have those kind of fears, the irrational one and situational one. There's many situations throughout the day that we feel fear, but we sometimes are not aware of it, or we react in a way that we are used to. And because we have that behavior, we don't even notice that we're feeling fear. So again, we all experience some sort of fear in our life. And this is I guess the steps from the fear that we may begin with. And everything starts from being afraid that something might happen. That's the first level. You have some sort of fear, some doubt, some apprehension about something, and you feel a little bit of fear, insecurity. If you don't address that level when you first recognize that you are afraid of something, it's going to make you nervous. First, you feel this little fear. Now you are nervous about what comes next, or you're nervous about whether this is going to be something bigger, right? If you don't address that nervousness, it will become anxiety, and then you'll be anxious. You're passing levels. And this is why a lot of times, again, people suffer a lot from anxiety, because they have a lot of tiny fears that have not been addressed at the very bottom level. And then, of course, you go on to the other higher levels that might be there for a long time. And when I'm talking about this, I am referring to the regular feelings and emotions that we feel in a daily life, not something that we have within us or inside of us from a long time because some traumatic experience we might have had when we were little. This is not that kind of a class or information that I'm displaying here. This is totally for what goes on in our daily life and how we can identify them and improve our daily life as is with what we have that is within a normal range. So today we'll touch on psychological fear. So psychological fear has to do, of course, with the mind. It is not something that poses any immediate danger to us. It's all in our mind, and it's always this thinking that something might happen. It's that possibility. This is the fear that a lot of people have when they imagine things that they might happen. And that is very irrational. Not only is irrational, but it's psychologically damaging because you are creating things that are not even there. We don't even know we're going to live till those things happen. But people start suffering already ahead of time by imagining that some of those things might happen. So key word here is might happen, which is very uncertain. So we can always, again, cope with situational fear. Whatever situation we're in, we can always find an outlet. We can breathe or do something else. But psychological fear is very, very difficult to escape because it is in your imagination. It is in your mind. Your mind cannot tell you to stop. Your mind cannot tell you it's going to be okay. And so because the mind cannot tell you, it's the mind that is creating these fears. And so the mind cannot tell itself, hey, calm down. So we need to find some techniques. Number one, we need to realize if what we are imagining is really a possibility. You know, some people may be afraid that aliens are coming to get us in 20 years. Is that really a possibility? No, it isn't, you know, as far as we know. Because it is as far as we know. The key is as far as we know. What we know is that they're not, right? And now if anybody knows something else, they need to let us know, right? But as far as we know, from what we know, from whatever facts we have, no, I know. But but that is actually an answer. As far as we know, they're not. So even if I fear, no, but even if I say, you know, I'm afraid that I will not have enough money to support myself when I'm 65. As far as I know, I don't know if I'm going to live 65. So do I need to worry about that? I don't know if my days are counted till just a few hours from now. Maybe tomorrow I won't be awake. Allah knows, you see? So as far as I know, I don't need to worry about because that's all I know. I just know my today. I don't know my 20 years, 25 years from now. So a lot of times for the psychological fear, we torture ourselves with things that are actually not that bad. And I am talking sometimes about things that happen in our daily life. For example, people that might have an interview and they're panicking and they're really afraid that, you know, I'm going to do really bad. What if I don't get the job? And then they go through the interview and everything goes fine. And they come out saying, hey, it wasn't as bad as I expected. But in the meantime, they were torturing themselves. They were suffering from the psychological fear that I inflicted themselves from the unknown. So a lot of times we need to just kind of realize and think positive about what the best outcome could be for whatever that we are torturing our mind with. This is an example of each. So real fear versus psychological fear. Real fear would be an example of avoiding an accident. For example, you're driving and you might see a car that may be a threat to you and you're able to, you know, move around, you respond quickly to avoid an accident, then you're not hit. And then when you're safe area, you notice that your heart is beating fast because you were so busy trying to save yourself. And, you know, your hands get sweaty. And then, of course, you praise Allah. If you're a believer, you'll be, oh, alhamdulillah, nothing happened. Alhamdulillah, I moved, alhamdulillah, you saved me. And then in a couple of minutes, everything goes back to normal. Your blood rate is fine and you're just fine. That is a real fear. Means it was a real situation that you are safe now, then you're okay. But psychological fear is habitual. It's a pain. It's something that's in there. It's a habit. So that it doesn't go away so easy. Takes control of your mind. And you may be off for a little bit, but again, because it is habitual, then you will be, the minute you don't have the psychological fears, you will create them just so you have that, because you're accustoming your body and your mind to be always in this state of worry, in this state of stress, right? But then when you calm down, you'll be like, hey, something is weird. So your mind start creating things to make you go that way. So and it creates eventually anxiety and panic over anything, and it just overtakes us. So far, so good. Any comments, questions? No? Good. Awesome. So how do we overcome uncertainty? Well, with the opposite, of course, with knowing, with knowledge. And the more we know about any decisions that we're going to make, the more we know about anything we're going to do, the more rational we're going to do. We're going to do things for a reason, for a purpose. And the more we know about whatever we are afraid of, the more we can fight it. Okay. And the less we know about anything, the more irrational we're going to see. And this also is for situations between people. For example, the more I know about a person and within the family, the more I know what bothers them, what makes them happy, or what triggers their emotions, the more I'm going to be able to approach, whether it's my husband, my son, my mother-in-law, my neighbor, the more I get to know about them, the more I'm going to know how to have a better approach for whatever situations. The less I know about them, the more prone I'm going to be to make an upset or make a bad relationship. So again, most fears come from uncertainty or from not knowing. And how do we overcome our fears then? Psychological fear, again, for little things that we are creating, such as, you know, what if this happens to me? What if she does that? What if she falls down? What if, for all of these what if that invade us, we can take a deep breath and realize that, hey, I am sitting here. I'm present. This is what really matters. Whatever is going in my mind for 10, 20 minutes, 10 days from now, 2 days from now, it's not there. You are here. So whatever fears you might have right now, it doesn't matter. You're sitting down. This is what belongs to you. You're present. You need to be present. And as far as you know, you are safe right there. There's no snakes around. There's no aliens coming. There's nothing there that can make you fearful, you know, psychologically. So when you start thinking, if your mind starts going away from when you are, then you need to bring it back. Pull yourself together. Say, I'm here. Hey, what am I afraid of? You know, tomorrow is not even here. Or it will give you at least more of a sense of security in which you can begin to think more rationally about that which bothers you, about that which is psychologically torturing you or taking over you. So be present and stop it before it starts. Again, if you feel your mind is worrying about your children or your husband or your job or even your health, pull yourself together and take that present. If you're worried that you're going to get, I don't know, cancer, and you're about to eat something, then don't eat it. If that's what makes you feel a little better. Or if you're afraid that going someplace is going to cause some stress on you, then don't go. You're here. This is what you have in control. Stay there, right? Avoid it. So recognizing what things we may be afraid of psychologically or physically can help us to really stop it by just remembering our present. We're right here and knowing that it is not real, because what is real is what you have, what you are, your little environment, your little bubble at that minute. That was real. And so that is one of the things. And of course, Islamically speaking, here we can always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I was actually telling my mom about it on our way. And when we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our heart immediately finds peace and it immediately calms you down. So if you're calmed down, your senses are going to be more prone to make better decisions, because the first thing we ask Allah is always, guide me what to do. Oh, Allah, please tell me what to do. We're always asking, right? When we feel this peace, we're like, what do I do now? Oh, Allah, please help me. When we say help me, we really mean, tell me what I do. And so then we start finding and thinking solutions. We start thinking about what we can do to be safe. My mom was telling me about some news she's heard today or sometime this week about a woman whose car got stuck in a trailer, in a big 18-wheeler. And all it was between the tires was the hood of the car that is stopped at the windshield, but it was sideways like this. So all it was visible for the woman she was able to roll the windows and to wave at people and say, hey, help me out. But the back of the car was absolutely intact. Okay. So I was telling my mom, but I just could have just gone in the back and get out from the back door. You know, like if the car is stuck, I could just go back in the back door and not be waiting for someone to get me. I'll just jump in. I was like, Mom, I can just jump back there and open the door and get out. And so my mom is like, yeah, but when you are in so much distress and you're so stressed out, you're not going to think about it. And I say, yes, but this is why, again, it is important as believers to remember that the first thing that's going to calm us down is to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I say, may Allah protect me from that. But I would expect that, inshallah, any of us would be, once you're in that situation, of course, after all these goes in our head, because we can't help it, we are human beings. And this is our test as well, to go through those nervousness and anxieties and fears. Then remember Allah and say, oh, Allah, Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Alhamdulillah, I'm fine. Oh, Allah, please guide me. And listen, the minute I start calming myself down and remembering Allah, will be more calmed down, and I'll be asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me. Then I said, I'm pretty sure Allah will tell me, hey, jump in the backseat and get out. But when you don't have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your mind, or where you're not a believer, you're going to seek the help of human being. And she was going to be stuck in the window waiting to see what human being could see her and offer her some help. So, I mean, of course, anything could happen, but that was the first scenario that came to my mind to illustrate that if we have some sort of control, some sort of sense of control, then we can find solutions. And of course, knowing that for psychological fear, again, is that imagination of something that might happen. We don't know anything that can happen or will happen for sure, because we know that everything is in the hands of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that has planned our life out for us. And whatever is there awaiting us is there for us. No one's going to take it away. And so why are we worrying in that sense? Why worry for what you don't know when you know that your Lord knows it? All we can do is to ask for the best, right? And so Islamically speaking, we also need to remember that Allah is the best of planners. And even though we plan or don't plan, Allah will have something for us already. So that is also another way to combine what is psychology and what is also our spirituality, and to bind it together and work it out. How is everybody doing out there? Do you guys have any online? Do you have any comments, any questions yet? I don't want to neglect anyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I just had a comment to make. Like, I always had this fear, like when I'm driving, that, you know, if the road is closed or something, you know, and I have to take a different exit, you know, I panic. I have a panic attack. But like, I'm getting better at it. You know, now I talk myself through it, you know, like, okay, it's not going to be that bad. I can just make a U-turn and go back the other way, you know. So I'm learning to overcome my fear of getting lost and, you know, not having the panic attacks. You know.
And also for that, it's interesting because I have a friend who I'm coaching right now, in fact, from this for fear of driving. It would probably be helpful for you to identify why is it that makes you panic. Or is it really panic? Because remember, that's like the third stage. Does it really make you, are you really nervous, or are you panic? Because that's like, actually, that's like the fifth stage, actually, like really. So you may be getting a little just anxious about it. And maybe you need to think exactly what makes you feel that, have that feeling. Is it that you feel that you're going to be late to where you're going? So perhaps leaving a few minutes early may solve that. You know, is it that you don't know the road? Maybe a map ahead of time for the roads that you may be taking in case of you getting stuck. Maybe you prepare your mind a little bit ahead of time and say, hey, if this is not a road that is, if I get stuck in here, I can take this road or this road or this road. And what are those things that make you afraid of taking that road? Is that, again, that you're going to be late? Is it many lights? Is it many people? Is it very fast? Yeah. Like, there's always more than one alternative. So yeah, so instead of,
I'm always afraid if I have, I'm sorry, I'm always afraid if I exit or something, you know, if I don't know my way, if I'm trying to get over, that I might hit somebody trying to exit, you know, or something. If I don't know, if I slow down or something, I don't know where I'm going, I'm afraid that I might hit somebody trying to, you know, or if I'm in a bad area, you know, sometimes I'm afraid that I don't know
Get
the area
lost.
very well, and there's maybe bad people. I have to stop, and I don't feel secure in that area, you know.
It makes, yeah, it's understandable. So yeah, so maybe you can look out ahead of time to see again for alternative roads that in which you may not feel as unsafe, you know. And again, what would you feel that you might hit someone? You're a good driver, you know, you make your dua, inshallah, and you're cautious around it. And hopefully you drive at a times in which it's not putting anyone at risk. So inshallah, that should ease a little bit some of that anxiety or fear that you might feel. So inshallah, if you have any questions, you can always, you know, reach out to me. I can help you out, inshallah, with the help of Allah.
Jazakallah.
Anyone? Jazakallah khair. Anyone else? Or we move on to the other one. Here. Sorry. All right. So there it is. Yeah. Sorry, I'm new at your computer. Always, it should now be mine. Okay. So these are some of the ways again that we can utilize to overcome some uncertainty, meaning things that we don't know, or this anxiety or fear that we might feel for the unknown. So we can again gather all the facts. If you are afraid of something, gather all that you know about it, all that you know. List the things that you don't know, and then be more comfortable with that. And so by knowing again more about that which makes you afraid, should ease with knowledge. You should combat this uncertainty and this fear with security. So knowledge gives you security. Knowledge gives you a door for you to you know, lock in this uncertainty and just keep it there. So knowledge is key, is freedom. It frees you from these worries. So learn a lot about that which makes you afraid. If you are, for example, in relationships, if you are uncertain of where your partner may be, or you don't have trust, then learn, ask, whatever it is, businesses. If you're dealing with businesses or work or your sons, you don't know where they are, and these uncertainty making you afraid that maybe something's going to happen to them, or maybe they're lying to you, then ask. Get yourself to know what you need to know in order to find that peace and that security. So that way those fears go away. So gather all that you know, list out what you don't know, and ask about it. Figure it out. Ask straight out. Ask, hey, I need to know these because these will make me feel better. Again, it goes back to the roots. We need to know ourselves. If you don't know yourself and what you need or what you like, then you're not going to be able to ask for it. And you're not going to, people are not going to know, because we don't read minds. So we need to tell. We need to tell, and we need to ask to know other people. So, and again, what are some of the things that we are actually uncertain about? We need to be truthful with ourselves, and we need to be clear. What is exactly that makes me feel afraid? You are the one that knows. And I'll tell you this from my from one of my friends that I'm coaching. She had an accident that came back in May, right after school. And so for the summer, we were at home. She didn't drive, so she was okay. But then about 3 weeks before we started the actual school, going in person, we started some training. And so she had to drive. So she called me and she said, I can't go. Can you pick me up? And I'm like, sure, you know. So on the way there, I said, hey, you just bought a new car. How is it that you should take me your new car? And she's like, I just can't drive. You know, I just had an accident in May, and I get really anxious anytime I wake up to go to work. And I said, so what's making you anxious? You know, what is it that you're afraid of? And she just told me, I don't know. I just feel anxious. And I said, well, let's walk through this. So we walked through that and said, well, are you afraid that you're going to get in an accident? Are you afraid that you're not going to have enough money to pay for the insurance? Are you afraid that you're going to be late for work because it's going to take too long? And so there were like 10 or 15 things that she was afraid of. I said, how can we take care of each one? So she said, I'm afraid I'm going to be late for work. I said, what can we do to fix that? Oh, I can leave 20 minutes earlier. Okay, then leave 20 minutes early. We cross that out. You know, I am afraid to drive in the highway. Okay, let's find what roads we have. We cross that out. There are 2 things less that we're afraid of. You know, I'm afraid to stay work late because it's dark. I don't want to drive in the dark. Okay, let's make sure that we leave early. Let's make sure that we leave at 4 before it's dark, you know. cross it out. Instead of staying late and work longer hours, maybe you can come on Saturday during the daytime and make it up. So there are solutions. So we went through each one. She reduced it to like 2 or 3 things. And some of those things where I said, so what are some of the things that you do to find security, like spiritually? She's of course not Muslim. And she said, well, sometimes I pray. She said, I said, well, let's work on that. So maybe that's the roots. That's where the root of your security will come. We've already chose a different route. We already know that we're going to leave early. We're going to go 20 minutes earlier to work, and we have a new car. We have insurance. So you don't have to worry about all of these things. You're a good driver. You took your defense driving, all that stuff. So now let's say, how about prayer? Do you pray? And she said, well, sometimes I go to church. I said, okay, well, fine. Let's get in the habit in the morning, and say, hey, I'm going to be fine. Oh, God, help me. And just that we reduced it to like 2 or 3 things. And those 3 things had to do with her own self-talk and with knowing herself. So subhanAllah is workable. It's providing that it isn't something traumatic from, childhood or something that you will need a therapist for that. But things that we have in our daily life are workable. So I wanted to share that with you. She's fine now. MashaAllah, she now works for, back and forth, and she's fine. So alhamdulillah, she didn't have to take any medication, and she's praying more. So alhamdulillah. And again, it all goes down to trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with anything and everything that we do, and knowing that He is certain and He knows what we don't know. So that should take a lot of weight from our shoulders already, because I should not worry about things I don't know when I know that someone bigger than me does. So as believers, we need to have that very clear at all times. So there is going to be uncertainty in all decisions that we do. Nothing will ever be 100%, because everything is ultimately in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just like they tell you 90% chance of pregnancy or whatever, the 1% is for Allah. So everything there is a little bit of uncertainty in everything that we do or that we know or decisions that we make. But trusting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that little 1% will go a long way. It will give us a lot of peace. It will complete the puzzle in a way, And then we have also these beautiful says. I had this one here again. I entrust my affair unto God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Truly, Allah is aware of His servants. He's aware what is in your heart. He's aware what you're afraid of. He's aware what goes in your mind. So we should entrust Him with that and let Him lead us to the best, This is, and then we're almost finished. These are the only 2 slides I have. I have a short video and some questions for reflection. So inshallah, stay tuned. We have a few more minutes. Let me see. Okay, thank you so much. Yes, good that they let us know. Okay, so back to these 2 verses I was referring to. If anything fails, if nothing comes to our mind, we should know always that if we don't have anyone to help us, and even we just out of our mind, Allah will be sufficient for us at all times. I think this is the most powerful verse that you can ever find, that you should find comfort in your heart. I have experienced this myself, and there's nothing more beautiful than you going into sujood and just saying, Allah, you are sufficient for me. It fills you with power. It should fill you with power. If you're a believer and you trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as your supreme creator, your only supreme creator, you should feel that He's sufficient. You don't need anyone else. And I'm not saying just your faith. I'm saying, yes, your faith, your belief, your trust. And you trust that Allah will guide you to the actions that will get you out of that situation. But you must have it with all your heart. And then, of course, verily in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find peace. Remembering again Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and asking for help should bring peace to our hearts. And again, once your heart has calmed down, your mind will be all put together. You will be able to move forward, to make better decisions for you, better decisions for others. So inshallah, this is a practice that we all have. And if not, let's start with those 3. They're very short. It's very easy. Allah is sufficient for us. He has said it Himself, and He will never lie to us. He's sufficient for us. So let's keep that in mind. And the last thing I have for you guys is a short video and some questions for you. So I need you to pay close attention to the reactions, a patient and a nurse. So I won't tell you more about it. It's basically emotional intelligence in action. So we're going to see how it looks like and what effects this may have. It's a short video, but it is very illustrative. It illustrates clearly what emotional intelligence is, at least for this situation. Yeah, I won't tell you anymore, but here it goes. Bismillah. They can hear.
Where's that nurse? I haven't pain again. 15 minutes I've been pushing this button.
Are you looking at Goldwyn again? What can I do to help you?
What can you do? I just had knee surgery. I'm in pain. I need my pain medicine.
We're changing shifts here, and we're very busy. I have 4 other patients. We're extremely busy. There's a national nursing shortage going on. Don't you know that?
And what would I do if I fell out of bed or I stopped breathing or something? What would you do then?
Again, sir, we're very short-staffed. If you're having a problem with my response time, give my nurse manager a call. Maybe while you're at it, you can tell her how short we are and how busy we are. Maybe she can throw in a pair of scrubs herself and come in out here and help us.
So when am I going to get my pain medicine?
Whenever I get a chance. And if you keep on bothering me and ringing your bell, it's going to take me even longer.
Where is that nurse? I need my pain medicine. I just had knee surgery. I need my pain medicine. It's been a long time.
I'm so sorry. What can I do to help you? I'm here now.
What if it were an emergency? What if I fell out of bed or I stopped breathing or something? Who would come?
See that this has caused you a lot of frustration and distress. I am right now to get your food under control. Is there something condition that you just
Something break, ginger ale or something with the pain medicine.
I'm just glad to get that for you right now.
Two big different scenarios. It makes a world of difference, starting with the tone of voice that the first nurse approached. Of course, he's loud, he's in a lot of pain. And so even the approach of her for, raising her voice and what have you, made it more, it exacerbated both of their behavior. So his behavior. And I have some questions here. So I will take comments from you because I think that you were able to observe a lot of things. So what is the situation fear of this patient? What is his fear? Is it situational one, meaning he's in a situation, or is he having psychological pain, or is it both? What do you notice about, oh, great, I like this. Yes, Jazakallah khair, Sister Amanda, this is great, and it is true. So security and emotional, very good. Any comments? Did anyone notice what is the situational fear? It's very clear. What's the situational? What situation is he in? He's in a lot of pain because he just had knee surgery. So that is his situation. What situation is he in? He has pain. So that is the reason to be, I guess, angry a little, to be in distress, to be afraid that it may go worse and he just can't take it, right? That he's probably going through a lot of fears about what happened, what's the outcome of this, right? All he knows is he's in pain. So what was some of the psychological fears that he mentioned? What did he imagine that could happen? Do you all remember? Fall off the bed, right? He was saying the what ifs. That's usually the key. When we find ourselves saying what if, is the key word. Like, what if? It means it's not there. Is it what if? It's like a faraway island. You don't want to be there. It's in here. So he was thinking, what if I fell off, off the bed? There you go. Or die. Then what would you then? What would you do then? He was going through his own fears. And what trait, it's a little tricky, but hopefully you were able to pick it up. What trait did the nurse number 1 showed? What was her trait? Like what? Insensitivity. She was lack of emotional intelligence. She was insensitive. She was also loud. She wasn't, she didn't lower her voice. She wasn't listening. She was just concerned with her own baggage of shortage of nurses. She was concerned with her own. She wasn't concerned at all with, she couldn't hear what he said at all. All she knew was like, hey, there's not that many of us, so can help you. She did not even hear what he said. She kept on going with her own topic until she was satisfied to say what she was feeling. So there was no empathy in there. There was no listening. And he was not listening either, because he had his mind set up for what he was feeling. So it was a barrier. They didn't hear anyone. They didn't hear each other at all. So she said what she needed to say. He just happens to be the one that encountered her, and she said it out to. It could have been her husband. It could have been anybody else. Could have been the elevator, anything. And he was going to say what he needed to say to any nurse, her or anyone else. So listening is a huge part of emotional intelligence, of understanding yourself and understanding others. And what trait did the nurse number 2 display? This is very beautiful. Which was that trait? Yes, that is true. Emotional, coming and willing to hear him and meet his needs with medication, exactly. She did not hear. She totally, she was already with her own. So they both needed to grow some emotional intelligence right there. What about the second nurse? What was the difference? Did y'all notice the tone of voice as she approached the man? It was soft. Number 1, it was soft to the point that we couldn't even hear it much. Right? That alone made him also calm down a little, because you can transfer your anxiety to others. When you are calmed down, you can transfer that to people around you. If you are all hyper and all nervous, you contage that, you pass that on. So she was able to bring a sense of calmness by lowering her voice, but still be heard and compassionate. So she was compassionate and she was empathetic. She did say, I understand that this causes a lot of pain for you and a lot of frustration. So she acknowledged that he was frustrated. And if he didn't realize that he was frustrated, she let him know, hey, you're frustrated, but hey, there's a solution for that. It's not the end of the world, and she was able to hear him calmly. She didn't respond for anything that he said. She wasn't on the defense. She was like, okay, yeah, I'm here to help you. And that's all I'm here for. That's her duty. I'm here to help you with love, with compassion. Let me know what you need, however you need. She understood that if he would not have any pain, he probably wouldn't have been that mad or angry or afraid. He would have been nicer, kinder. But she understands that he's in a situation in which he can't help it. Therefore, those feelings are going to make his body and his mind react differently. So she was there for that. Very good. And the second nurse response was great. Yes. And how do we not absorb others' emotions? How do we not absorb others' emotions? Again, by knowing yours first. By knowing yours first. That is the first thing. Self-awareness entirely, by knowing your own, knowing what triggers you. And if of course it depends on the situation, but by knowing yourself first and understanding your own and having control of yours will help you set a barrier for others not to transgress that to you, to transfer that, or to allow for you to absorb any negativity. And on the contrary, if you are an intelligent, emotional person, you should be one of those people that pass that positivity to others. That calmness, you transfer it to others. People want to be around you. In fact, what is one of the traits of emotional, intelligent people? People want to be around them. They want to learn from them or laugh with them. They feel happy when they see them. There's something nice about them because they feel secure around them, because they know that this person is not going to be snapping at them. They have this sense of belonging, of acceptance, because that's what emotional people, intelligent people do. They understand themselves and they're able to understand others. Okay, so this is one of the things. So any other comments from here? I think we're finished. We have like 2 minutes so we can close. I really enjoy your comments here, mashallah. This second, yeah, that's, I think, great. Yeah, they're just saying wonderful things. Anyone else online has any comments, contribute to this? Questions? No? Okay, well, I think we are finished. Anyone here? I think there is something here. Jazakallah khair. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. It does make a huge difference. One sister here is commenting to, you know, take some these to our and apply to our daily life, like you said, with our children, with people we interact on daily basis. And starting, yes, even with a tone of voice, you know, that does make a difference. And I'll tell you that to end. I work for public school. I'm a teacher of little kids, kindergarten this year, and so I have my personality in general is calm. And so my class is known for being very calm. All of my kids are very sweet and very calm. And I have another coworker who we can hear from far, and her kids are so hyper. So we just realized she's picking up on me, so her kids can calm down, because she realized that because I'm calmed down, my kids follow my tune and they pick up on her energy. So she's trying that this week. She told me work a lot better because she calmed down a little. So it does have an effect on how you talk to others and what you transfer and what they absorb from us. So Jazakallah khair, everyone online for joining us. Inshallah, we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, guys. Assalamu alaikum.